Hafa and good evening to you and to the people of Guam. Today is Wednesday, December 13th, 2023. This town hall will be conducted by myself, Senator William A. Parkinson, Chairman of the Committee on Fire, Agriculture, Power, and Energy Utilities, Public Transit, Unemployment Insurance, and Universal Health Insurance. This town hall is called to order, and the time is 5:50. For the record and to comply with the open government law, notice of this hearing was disseminated to all local media outlets on Tuesday, December 5th, 2023, and the second notice was also shared to all local media on Monday, December 11th, 2023. Notice of this meeting was also posted and available on Guam Legislature's website and the Government of Guam Public Notice portal. Today's topic for discussion, GPA damage claims. The purpose of this town hall is to give the public and the people of Jotnya the opportunity to file your damage claims on electrical appliances pursuant to Public Law 22-21. GPA Customer Service Representatives are joining us tonight to help you on how to file damage claims for any household appliances broken or damaged because of power supply issues such as load shedding. I'd like to thank our GPA representatives for being here tonight. Thank you for your continued cooperation and collaboration in this process. Now I will start by reading my opening statement. Public Law 22-21, authored by my father, the late Speaker Don Parkinson, sets the parameters of the appliance damage claims process with the Guam Power Authority when such damage is proximately caused by power surges, voltage fluctuations, or frequency fluctuations in the power supplied by GPA. My father wrote this law to be consumer friendly, and I want to read this law in its entirety so people understand the program. Authority liable for damage. The authority shall be liable for damage caused to electrical appliances and devices when such damage is proximately caused by power surges, voltage fluctuations, or frequency fluctuations in the power supplied by the authority to a consumer, and when such damage is not a result of any negligence on the part of the consumer and is not a result of an otherwise defective appliance or electrical device. Except for computer equipment or equipment for which the manufacturer recommends that a voltage protection device, surge protector, or power conditioning device be installed by the consumer, the authority may not require the use of voltage protection devices, surge protectors, or power conditioners, and may not raise the failure to use such devices as a defense to claims for damages arising out of voltage or frequency fluctuations or power surges. In establishing liability for damages pursuant to this section, the consumer need only prove that the appliances or electrical device was damaged by a variation of voltage or a variation of frequency or a surge in power supplied by the authority. The authority may raise as an affirmative defense proof that the appliance or electrical device in question was defective or the fluctuation of voltage or frequency or power surge was not caused by the authority, but was in fact caused by the consumer's electrical wiring system or devices or equipment belonging to the consumer. It shall be an affirmative defense for the authority to establish that the quality of power delivered to the consumer's meter was satisfactory. Any consumer claiming damages from the authority who relies upon the provisions of this section must file such a claim with the authority within 90 days of the date of the alleged damage. Otherwise, except for the shortened period in which to make a claim, the procedures contained in the Government of Guam Claims Act shall apply to claims brought pursuant to this section to the extent not otherwise inconsistent herewith. This section shall be effective only as to damages occurring after the date that this section becomes law. So that's the law. In today's increasingly interconnected world, the reliability and consistency of our electrical grid are not just conveniences, but necessities. And in this time when a very great number of people are entering their retirement and elderly years, the need for medical equipment to run consistently with reliable equipment becomes more and more important as the years go by. The damage to appliances resulting from such power disruption can place a significant financial burden on households and businesses alike. In recognition of this, we firmly support the enforcement of a compensation program for ratepayers who suffer appliance damages due to load shedding. This program represents not only a fair and equitable approach to mitigating the adverse effects of power management strategies, but also reinforces the trust and relationship between power providers and consumers. By compensating ratepayers for such damages, utility companies can demonstrate their commitment to customer welfare and responsible service provision. This program is not just about financial recompense. It's about acknowledging the essential role that stable, reliable power play in our daily lives, and the importance of protecting consumers from the unforeseen impacts of necessary grid management practices. It is a step towards a more resilient, consumer-focused approach to energy management, ensuring that the burdens of maintaining grid stability are not disproportionately borne by individual ratepayers. In the face of the challenges posed by load shedding, it is not only essential to address the direct impact on consumers, particularly in terms of appliance damage, but also to ensure that the processes governing compensation are rooted in transparency and fairness. Transparency in this context means clear, accessible information about how to claim compensation, straightforward criteria for eligibility, and an open and accountable process for the assessment and reimbursement of claims. A transparent program fosters trust and confidence among consumers, demonstrating that utility providers and regulatory authorities are acting with integrity and in the best interest of the public. It also ensures that all affected parties are aware of their rights and the support available to them, thereby enhancing the overall effectiveness of the program. Furthermore, transparency is vital in ensuring that the program is administered equitably, with all claims being treated consistently and fairly. It also provides a framework for accountability where ratepayers can seek redress if they feel their claims have not been handled appropriately. We believe that by committing to clear, fair, and open practices, GPA can significantly mitigate the adverse effects of load shedding on consumers and maintain a positive and trustful relationship with the public. To this end, I've requested records related to approvals and denials from GPA, which my office has now received. Thank you very much. I appreciate that information coming in. And the public processes require public scrutiny, and we will follow the damage claim processes filed today as they go through the process and ensure in fairness and integrity. We will now hear from GPA, some testimony. If you got any prepared statements you'd like to share with us, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Senator. So for the record, my name is Tracy Limtiaco with the GPA, and this is James Borja, also of GPA, our Customer Service Manager. And James will be just reading some information about the damage claims, and then we don't want to hold up anybody, so I'm going to turn the mic over.
Good evening, Senator. I would like to go over the damage claims process as well as the frequently asked questions, which can be found on our website as well. About damage claims. So if you believe your electrical appliance and devices have been damaged as a result of power surges, voltage fluctuations, or frequency fluctuations in the power supplied by the Guam Power Authority, you can file a claim. The claim must be filed with the Guam Power Authority within 90 days of the alleged damage. If it is determined that the damage to your electrical appliance was caused by something within Guam Power Authority's control, you may be eligible to receive compensation. What is GPA's responsibility in regarding a damage claim? We must determine how the incident happened, whether or not GPA caused it, the extent of your damages, and we evaluate each claim based on the information you provide and our investigation, which involves reviewing the completed damage claim form, invoices, estimates, and receipts from a licensed technician, assessment of the damaged appliance, reviewing trouble or call logs and meter data for any power disruptions on the date and time of the alleged damage. Who is eligible for a claim? Any GPA customer who has suffered damages that they believe are a result of power surges, voltage fluctuations, or frequency fluctuations in the power supplied by GPA may file a claim. This includes residential, commercial, and industrial customers. All eligible claims will be awarded to the GPA account holder. What types of damages are eligible for a claim? Eligible claims may include damage caused to electrical appliances and devices when caused by power surges, voltage fluctuations, or frequency fluctuations in power supplied by the authority. It is important to note that outages associated with fluctuations typically do without, It is important to note that outages without associated fluctuations typically do not cause damage to electrical items. However, our team at GPA possesses tools to assess whether the fluctuations in power to your home or business during the time of the incident. What type of damages are not eligible for a claim? Damages that occur due to acts of nature, such as typhoons, floods, earthquakes, lightning, or animal or insect infestations. Any damage caused by an act of nature is beyond a reasonable control of the authority and is not eligible for a claim. How do I file a claim? To file a claim, you can visit our website to download the File a Damage Claim link, complete the claim, and you may submit it to any of our customer service lobbies or email at damageclaims@gpagwa.com. Is there a time limit for filing a damage claim? Yes, for your claim to be valid, it must be filed with GPA within 90 days of the incident that may have caused damage to your appliance or device. What information do I need to file a claim? You need to provide your name, account number, service location, mailing address, contact information, list of appliances and or equipment, time and date of the incident, and description of the incident that occurred. What documentation is required when filing a damage claim? When filing a damage claim, it is crucial to provide supporting documentation, including photographs of the damage, estimates, or invoices for repairs. How long does it take to process a damage claim? At GPA, it is our policy to respond to claims promptly and fairly pursuant to Guam Public Law 22-21. However, the processing time for damage claims varies depending on the complexity of the case. You may be contacted for additional information if needed. To ensure an efficient claims process, we recommend you do the following. Provide all necessary and appropriate information regarding the claim. Promptly respond to GPA's request for information or documentation. Retain copies of all invoices or estimates and or receipts for repairs or parts replacement. Keep damaged appliance in storage until your claim has been resolved. What happens after I submit a damage claim? After submitting your damage claim, it will be reviewed by our claims committee. GPA's claims committee is comprised of members that include line electricians, technicians, power system dispatchers, and engineers who may require inspection to validate your claim. You may be contacted for additional information if needed. The team reviews how the incident happened, whether or not it was caused by the electricity supplied by the authority, the extent of your damages, and once the review is complete, you will receive notification regarding the outcome of your claim. Will GPA pay for my new device or appliance? The damage claims program covers the cost of repairs or the depreciated value of the appliance or device. Depreciation is calculated using the depreciation guide for personal property and building materials. Is there an appeals process if my claim is denied? GPA evaluates all claims fairly. If your claim is denied, we will explain the reason for the denial in a letter mailed to you. You have the right to appeal within 90 days from the letter notice to GPA's Utility Services Administrator. Thank you.
Senator, I'd like to add that in addition to everything that James has gone through, just as we had mentioned in the Malesu Town Hall meeting, we are in the process of reviewing, just as a regular SOP review, the damage claim process. One of the things that we do want to incorporate is just things that were not available to us when the SOP and this process. Claim number and being able to find out what the status is online. So we already know that this process does work because we have converted our Energy Sense rebate program to an online program. It's but fixing the process is not only making it more convenient to apply. It also means that we have to go back and we have to look at how we evaluate what the law requires, and we have to make sure that we are accountable, transparent, and fair, everything that James has said. So I just wanted to add that.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your testimony. So I have a few questions now that I've seen some of the claims that have been paid out and denied. GPA provided information for claims from November 5th, 2018 to October 16, 2023. And there were 133 claims, of which 58 were approved and 60 were denied. I'd also like to note there are 6 pending claims as well as 3 canceled claims. Curiously, what struck me was that there has not been an approval since May 17, 2023, marking a recent string of denials. You've had 29 claims filed since May 17, 2023, but none have been approved. Is there a reason for the recent streak of denials?
Yes, and the denials that you may see is through acts of God, acts of nature. So anything that happened during the typhoon, the restoration. So we did go back and we looked at the date for which the incident or the event happened. But not all have been denied, Senator. We do have a couple of pending claims, and those were not denied. They are not yet approved. Those would be pending documentation or pending access for inspection, for instance.
I see. I'd also like to note, just doing the math here, with 133 claims total and 58 claims being approved, that is only a 44% approval rate. I've heard the number bandied about that GPA approves 95% of the claims that they do. And just after actually seeing the numbers, I think you would agree 44% is far short of the 95% we've heard touted. So the numbers show that GPA actually denies more claims than they approve.
Senator, just to clarify though, the denial is based on ineligibility that goes back to, to the law. I'm not sure exactly where the 98% statement came from. I don't believe I said that at the town hall meeting.
Yeah, I think that may have been from previous testimony. We'll have to check record, but it's not important.
So
right
I'm
now.
not sure if that, again, right, without seeing the numbers for the math, I'm not sure if that means of all eligible claims. I don't know.
So excuse me if I sound a little bit redundant because I'm just trying to wrap my head around this because I want to make sure people are paid. So my next question is, what do you look at once you receive claims? I know you just went through that whole brochure process, but can you walk us through what separates a successful claim versus an unsuccessful claim?
Sure, Senator. I did provide your office with a copy of an approved claim, and they'll be presenting that to you, but I do have it here. And basically, so we have a customer that applied for a claim and provided were all the information, the date that it occurred, all the appliances that were damaged, and a statement of what actually happened. Along with that, the customer provided a certified technician's findings with the repair costs. And upon receiving that, we were able to dial into the time and date of the fluctuation that occurred, we pulled the meter data. And also our trouble dispatch, they were also able to pull an outage ticket or a trouble ticket, which they found the cause for the fluctuation that occurred damaging the customer's appliance. So committee did meet. They found what the cause was for the damage that occurred, and then from there it was approved. The items or the appliances were validated from one of our staff or committee members that went out and validated the equipment by taking photos and making sure all that was being claimed was accounted for. And then from there, it came back to the customer service division for review of the costs that were paid for the repairs, and it was routed to our accounting finance division for queue of payout. So this particular claim has been provided to your office, and you can review it.
Thank you for that, sir. Like I mentioned earlier, 44% of all claims on this document have gotten approved. I think it was in a public hearing earlier this year with John Beneventi that he made the claim that most claims got approved. And I'm not sure how you would define the word most, but for me, 44% approval is not most claims. As oversight chair in GPA, I want to know what is the main factor that caused people's claims to be denied. Is it a specific document that people are always missing? Is it because they don't pass the inspection? What generally is the main cause that flags people for denial on claims?
So, Senator, I don't have all of the full analysis done on all the denials, but based on my recent review with James, if you take the total number of claims denied, which you had said is 60, and that's in our report, if you remove those denials and you just look at the highest, you rank them, the main reason for denial would be acts of God, acts of nature. That does not just mean typhoons. This also means, for instance, believe it or not, animals, we had said it before, insect infestation. Insect infestation actually happens a lot more than maybe most people realize. It's not uncommon, for instance, in the industry. In the mainland, you have squirrels, right, which are issues. Squirrels come, they chew on electrical lines, and then they cause damage or voltage fluctuations. On Guam, we don't have squirrels, but we do have snakes. We have birds, we have cats. I believe one time there was an iguana. So we do have a lot of voltage fluctuation and outages that are caused by animals. We also have infestation in meters. We often find when it happens on the customer side, when we do the investigation or the technician comes out and looks at it, it's an infestation that has been happening, for instance, on the customer side, electrical issues, ants going down and literally eating away at the sheath of the electric wires, and then it finally causes damage after so long. So that amounts for that amounts also for about maybe 33. I had counted. I was doing the analysis earlier, and I'm not quite done. But out of the 60 claims, so far 33 of them were considered acts of nature. So animals and weather. That does not count any tree damage. That is not considered acts of nature. So if it was, if the voltage fluctuation, for instance, was due to GPA failing to properly trim trees, then that would be on GPA's side. In my analysis, which again is not quite complete, 8 of the 60 claims I reviewed so far had no evidence of any fluctuations. And it's similar to what James had reviewed already and described in the process. When we have our engineering folks pull the meter data, they actually do look at any voltage, any fluctuations, any anomalies in the power going into the customer's meter. And so that is documented, and that's actually attached to the claim so that we understand why we denied the claim. I found that there was a lot of claims that were stale dated. So these are claims that we were waiting on the customer for something, whether it's access to the equipment or asking for, for paperwork that's absolutely needed. Can you give us the approximate time or date? Can you give us the technician's receipt? Those types of findings. Now, for the stale dated, that also includes any customers that may say, well, I'm going to go ahead and cancel. I'm going to cancel the claim. So we do sometimes mark that as denied. There's a handful, not a lot, but there's a handful of claims that were denied because we did find that the cause of the damage was on the customer side. So you had read the law earlier that your late father, Speaker Parkinson, had championed through. And it does say here, when such damage is not a result of any negligence on the part of the consumer and is not a result of an otherwise defective appliance or electric device. So, that of course comes from the technician and then it goes through the damage claim committee.
Thank you for that. I appreciate that. I appreciate that distinction. I don't mind if a lot of these are denied because they're ineligible. What I do take a little bit of umbrage with is just in this back and forth communication, it's been intimated to us that most of these are approved, and then if you squint the right way and define things in this way, well, then we're at 95%. I mean, that's just juking the numbers a little bit, and that really doesn't actually solve the problems we're trying to solve. It's just shifts or absolves responsibility and dismisses problems when we really should be addressing them. But I appreciate the distinction you make about things not being qualified, and maybe that's why we have such a high denial rate, and that's entirely possible. But I also want to note that the number for damage claims filed is awfully low. And why do you think that is? Just, spitballing.
That is a very good question, Senator, and I can't think of any idea why we don't get as many. Maybe perhaps it could be some customers may not feel the need to apply for a damage claim if there was damage that occurred. So not quite sure, but it is actually low for the amount of customers we do have.
Yeah. I know it's not because of a lack of interest from the public. I know perfectly well that when the government offers a program like this, people are jumping on it right away. When we were giving out free vaccines, lines were out the door. When people find out they could apply for FEMA relief, I had dozens of calls about how to do so. So it's just curious, why is it not the same for these damage claims? And I'm going to be honest with you, I've said this to Mr. John Beneventi as well at a prior hearing, but there are many rumors that GPA just does not pay out claims. From your documents, I know that some people are paid out. We know. But the fact still stands that a majority of people do not get compensated for their broken appliances. And I ran into a constituent the other week who told me that a GPA worker lives in their apartment complex, and when asked about the damage claims, the GPA worker told them to not even bother because they won't be getting paid out. Yeah, color me shocked too. These are the kind of things going on around about GPA. I didn't make that about a whole cloth. That's just what's out there in the community, and I think you should be aware of that perception of your organization. If it's false, you should do what you can to dispel that notion, and if it's true, you should also do what you can to fix that problem. So that's why I want to hold these town halls, so that we could sit down together and have GPA talk to the public directly. But I also have to know, does GPA ever get any complaints about the process? I know that GPA has to do its due diligence on their side to make sure that we aren't just paying out any Tom, Dick, and Harry. But don't you think that a 43% approval rate is a little bit too low? And, what can we do? What can I do to help get more people approved?
Okay, I want to make sure I don't forget to answer your question. but I have to ask, what was your question? I'm so sorry. I was thinking, Senator, I forgot to mention when you were asking about why do we think that the damage incoming claims are so low. We actually did not consider it in that way, in the way that you're framing it, but you probably already know we have monthly customer newsletters that we send out. And we send them out in your bill, your paper statement, if you still receive paper statements. And for those, for any folks that have email addresses with us, we actually send the newsletter in email style, and then they're available actually online on our website. And the reason I say that, the reason I bring this up is because we've had 2, maybe 3 customer-centric newsletters. So they were actually called customer service directories or information. And I believe in either volume 1 or 2, we took great pains to make sure that we put out how to file a damage claim. So we do invite the public to come in and do this. And as you can see now, we had committed to your office that this would be a collaborative event. I committed to you that I would be here, and certainly James or Richard, and that we would have at least 2 customer service representatives. And not only do we have the representatives here, but they have access. We ensure that they have access to our system so that if anyone came to find out where is my claim right now or can I file a claim, they're going to be able to help you on the spot. It's not just today that we offer that every day, right? We could go into any customer service lobby and get some help. You can call us, you can email us and say, I don't know how to answer this question, and we can help you along. So we really do not want this process to be difficult. But as you had mentioned, we want the process to be fair, and we need to make sure that we are being accountable. We can't just accept claims and pay them out when there's no proof. So that would be terribly wrong. Senator, if you don't mind, and please indulge me, what was your question?
What can we do to help GPA approve more people? What can we do to get more people to take part in the process and get people paid out more? Because I know we've had a lot of load
help.
shedding.
We've been doing town halls. You were on the radio. I was on the radio. I know that certain radio shows are talking about it. Folks are talking about damage claim. Now, the damage claim itself, Section 8120, the public law that was authored by your dad, it involves damage claims as a result of fluctuations, right? So power coming into your house. Now, the list that I gave you is only damage claims. We have other claims. So we have other claims under the Government Claims Act that is not damage claim. So if someone came in and was talking about a claim for damage, they may refer to it as damage claim, but we're talking here a term of art. We've had claims, automobile accidents, for instance, or unfortunately, something power related may have fallen on a car. So we do entertain that, and that may have been where the 90-something% that you cited comes up. If we add all of those other claims, that may add up. But we do. I recall now. Your question was, do people complain about the claims process? And the answer is yes. So they do complain about the claims process. Any process that requires anybody, whether it's a customer, whether it's you or me, it's the airlines, to have some burden of proof, can be onerous. We did hear from Ray Gibson this morning, and he was saying he keeps everything. I don't keep everything. So if I had to file a damage claim, it would depend on whether or not I could find what I need in order to file the claim, but it's required. Being able to provide, like James had said, a date or time, that's absolutely necessary. If you don't have the receipt for something, can you give us some information to help us narrow that down? So it does require some time, and I'm not sure exactly how to fix that.
Well, thank you for that. And Yeah, for those people watching at home, GPA is correct. They've been very cooperative with us on this throughout this whole process. We still have 3 more town halls to go in the future, and we hope that people watching out there, and if they're coming to a village near you, will come out and get some help with the process, because we do have customer service reps with access to the systems here willing to help you directly. So just a few more questions. I also noticed that on the list that there are some claims that are as canceled. What does that mean?
So for the canceled claims, those could have been, they just opted to not proceed, maybe due to not having documentation.
Okay. And some claims on this list are also labeled as pending. Some of them have been pending since August. Could you comment on that, please?
Yeah, so of course, during MOAR, we did temporarily put our damage claims process on hold. Everything shifted to storm recovery, and those that are involved in the committee were also part of the recovery. So now after August or September, we started playing catch up, and that's with everything that customer service has to do, whether it be rebates, payment plans, payment arrangements, credit and collection. Everything is now playing catch up, but we've started to move forward with the process.
I gotcha. So it was typhoon related kind of resources allocation.
Yeah. So our entire customer service team had just shifted our normal role to handling, helping customers with emergency work clearances, for example. We had close to 2,000 emergency work clearances that needed to be issued for people who had suffered damage to their weatherheads and other components.
All right. Thank you for answering those questions. At this time, I'd like to open up the floor to comments or questions from the community to GPA. If there's anybody who'd like to take up the mic or have their piece be heard, now is your moment. Sure. Could we please get this lady microphone? Let her ask her question. Thank you, Keith. Please go ahead and ask your questions of GPA or make your comments,
this is
ma'am.
for is it on? Yeah. This is for GPA. I had my aircon replaced already, and the broken one is already disposed of. And I understand you guys have to come out and inspect the asset or the aircon. What if I don't have it already?
Yeah, thank you for that. So yes, internally we have discussed that as well, because we do have an energy sense rebate program, and we've had instances where the replaced item is actually disposed of. But we will work with you if you do have any photos or the model number. We do make exceptions to certain things, and we were just talking about this the other day, because we offer the rebate program, but part of that is you also must dispose of the appliance.
Yes, I have a receipt for the disposal from the technician that came out and installed the new aircon. I just have to, I guess, attach that to my application. But the receipt doesn't specifically identify the model or anything. It just says disposal of a 30,000 BTU aircon. That's all. It was very vague, or it wasn't detailed. Would that suffice?
There's like documents, and we can further assist you.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Does anybody else in the community have any questions or comments? Go ahead, sir. Please state your name for the record and fire away.
My name is Ken Rivera. I live in Lejang, Barrigada. And I filed my claim in July 7, 2023. I never received any response. On the 7th of September, I called GPA, talked to Christina. Still no feedback. On the 14th of September, I called, talked to B. Still no feedback. And this is from July 7, 2023 on my CPAP. This is my, I have a sleep apnea. So my CPAP broke because of the constant power outage and brownout in our area. I would like to ask a question. How do they know that there's an outage or brownout from GPA?
So we can look at your meter data if you can provide us with a specific time of when the fluctuation.
So
may
you
have
know
occurred.
when the
We could,
outage and
yes,
the
we-
brownout is happening.
we could run a report on a specific day on your meter or days, and we can verify the voltage during the 15-minute interval.
So the customer doesn't need to provide the date of the outages and so you will know that.
Yes, that will be a big help for us to determine, because over a 24-hour period, there's so many intervals. So providing a date and a time helps us narrow down the approximate time that the
Because
currents may.
in our area, we usually have a brownout and outage maybe about 2 times a week. This is prior to the typhoon. And I believe that caused my machine to break down. So I talked to you on the 21st of July, of September, and still no response. And this is before the typhoon. So what do I have to do to get action on this?
So I'm very familiar with your case, and we can further discuss. In your situation with your equipment, the documentation or the report from the center that services your equipment did provide, right? And it's unique in a situation that there's no certified technician on island to further review or diagnose the appliance or item. But we will work with you to try and determine the time frame and see what we can do
Well,
to
why,
assist.
why wasn't there a response to it? Why didn't they call me back and tell me this? I need that response. I need to find out whether, what action are being taken. Or I said in the process. I mean, 5 months of not using the equipment is bad for me. So I'm asking the senator, to expedite something like this, for the sick, the senior, the handicapped. Expedite the processing to make it not more than 6 months. I mean, mine was 5 months already. It's getting to be 6 months. But I think it's 5 months, 15 days. So, it's the brownout and the outages is happening that really, maybe I'm assuming that it broke the machine.
Mr. Rivera, you are right. We can see the meter data, but you do need to provide us with at least some dates. So it could even be anything that you had recalled, maybe noted in the past, right? My CPAP wasn't working around this time, this date, this week. That helps us, as James had said, to narrow down what data the engineers need to pull.
You mean what date the outage or the brownout that could cause the damage?
What date that your CPAP, for
like I said,
instance?
The brownout and the outages happens every week. I mean, you got the information. Why do I have to record this information?
There has to be a nexus, sir, between the power quality, this is in the law, that the power quality, any fluctuation caused the damage to your machine. So we are not saying that it did not, but we do need
With the
some of the.
constant and frequent outages, brownout, the flickering of the street light every week, I believe that could damage the equipment or any refrigerator. When I'm sleeping at night and it happens, the brownout, that could happen. That could damage the equipment.
Okay, that information would be very helpful. You said it happened at night.
What information do you need?
When you're saying that your CPAP machine may have gone out at night on a certain week,
And you
is
want me
that
to get the
information?
dates of those?
Yeah, or the weeks of those. I'm sure, sir, that you had,
I
yeah,
got
any
a
information.
handicapped wife, and it's hard enough with the outages to take care of her, change her, feed her, aircon outage, and I have to record all these things for. This is why probably the percentage of people fouling is low, because of the people just don't care to file anymore. They figure that it's no good to file. They don't have any response to it. They don't get paid.
So, sir, what you're saying about the response is something that I had mentioned in the beginning. We are absolutely going to improve the process so that people do get a response.
Especially to the sick,
Absolutely.
the senior, the handicapped.
I agree with you.
I mean, you're saying it now, but it doesn't happen.
I am acknowledging that, acknowledging what you are saying, and that we are reviewing the process already so that we can ensure it happens.
I think that the CCU and the management of GPA should help the customer, because this matter, the problem is created by them. I believe that the outages and the brownouts that happen frequently is the cause of this situation. And I think that we need GPA to be more sympathetic to the sick, the senior and the handicapped, rather than increasing the rates for salaries for GPA. I think they should note this down, and take care of the private citizen, take care of the seniors, the handicapped especially. And I'm asking Senator to help us with this, because it's hard to take care of the handicapped.
Thank you for your testimony, sir.
Thank you, Senator.
I understand what you mean about the medical devices. I myself am diagnosed with sleep apnea, and I use a BiPAP machine myself. Without it, I'm plagued with constant headaches and a lack of energy, and it was life-changing for me to have a BiPAP machine. And so for one of those, yeah, and for one of those to be, for any medical device, yeah. Yeah, and for any medical device to be damaged because of load shedding, that's an order of magnitude greater than the inconvenience we all feel when an air conditioner breaks down or a fridge breaks down. These are medical devices that people need to function from day to day. And we'll certainly see what we can do, sir, to make sure that, especially for medical devices, that these get, considered to the front of the line for sure. Thank you for that, sir. Is there anybody else in the crowd who has any questions or comments they'd like to share with us or with GPA? The floor is yours. This is your time. All right. Now, if there are no further questions or comments, I'll just close this up by thanking GPA again for your cooperation and your collaboration in this process. This is the second of 5 scheduled town halls. The next one will be in Jigo tomorrow night at the Jigo Community Center at 5:30 p.m. I'd like to thank the Mayor of Jonia for letting us use his facility and for the warm hospitality down here. I know that they're very, very busy. I can see lines of food lined up against the wall, because I know tomorrow, all morning, they are preparing for their food drive. So if anybody out there is got some extra cans and in the festive giving spirit, the Jonia Mayor's Office could use your support in their food drive. I want to really engender more cooperation, more trust between the ratepayers and GPA as the oversight chair, because just hearing what I'm hearing from the community, it's very negative about GPA. And that's unfortunate, because I know there are people that work in that organization that are doing outstanding work. And you guys are, in some areas, are doing exceptional work, and that should be recognized. And it's unfortunate sometimes that the specter of load shedding overshadows a lot of that. But I appreciate you coming out here in the spirit of cooperation and trying to help the ratepayers. That is not lost on me, and I truly appreciate that. And with that, if there are no further questions or comments, this will conclude our discussion regarding the damage claim. The Committee on Fire, Agriculture, Power and Energy Utilities, Public Transit, Unemployment Insurance, and Universal Health Insurance will continue to accept written testimony on tonight's meeting within 5 business days from today, which may be mailed to my office at 238 Archbishop Flores Street, Suite 905 of the DNA Building in Hagåtña. You may also send your written testimony by my office at Senator Parkinson at guamlegislature.org. Representatives from GPA and my office will be standing by for a little while to help constituents with any damage claims that need to be filed. And so if you're out there watching in TV land, please come out and join us. And if you can't make it tonight, please join us in GIGO tomorrow night at 5:30 at the Community Center. Merry Christmas, everyone. We'll see you the next time.